Are you planning to move to Calgary and you're asking yourself, where should I live in Calgary? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 7 things that I discuss with my clients when they make the decision to move to Calgary. And what this will do is help you decide which is the best location for you and your family, and it's within your budget. So my name is Dean Martin. I'm a real estate agent here in Calgary, and this is my channel, Living in Calgary, Alberta. And I'm going to go over these steps with you right after this. All right, so the very first thing that you definitely want to do before you start shopping for a home or trying to decide where you want to live is determine actually what your budget is. This will make a big difference on your location choices in Calgary. Calgary has a really wide range of price ranges. We got starter homes at 100,000, and then we go into the multi-millions for high-end luxury homes. So first thing you want to do is determine how much you can afford and how much you can get pre-qualified for if you need to have a mortgage. So what you can do to do that is I do actually work with some excellent mortgage brokers, and I can actually help you get set up with one that's a trusted one. And that way they can help you determine exactly what price range that you can be looking in. So once you've determined what your budget is, there are the 7 things that I like to go over with my clients. And again, these things will help you really put in a prioritization of what's important for you and your family. Of course, every family is different, but these things will help you determine maybe which areas would be best for you. So one of the very first things is you got to consider transportation. Calgary is spread out quite large. We have the downtown core, and then of course we have a lot of suburban communities in Calgary. So if you are choosing to be in one of the suburban communities, you definitely want to have a car. If you need more of a walkability type of community, then downtown might be one of the choices that you would consider. So number 2 is if you have a family and your kids are going to school, you really need to know which school that is going to be best suited for you and your kids. So again, not all communities will have a school within the community. So busing might be something that you'd want to take a look at. I would recommend if you're going to, let's say you pick a community, definitely go in and find out which schools are supported and where they would be. And again, sometimes they're within the community, but sometimes you need to have your kids bused. So, and especially if you're going to go to a charter school or a private school, you definitely want to see what those options are. I'm going to be putting some links in the description for schools, and that way you can go ahead and search that out. And the websites have quite a bit of information, but once you do get closer to making that decision, you may want to call the principal and learn more about what the school's philosophies are, and make sure that they match what you are looking for. So number 3, shopping. You want to make sure that the grocery shopping and stuff that you're going to use on a daily basis is nice and close by. So again, check on Google Maps. If you pick a community and then click on grocery shopping, a lot of them will show up, and then that way you can sort of see how close those are for you. So number 4, where's your work in relationship to where you want to live? So again, nowadays a lot of people work from home, so it's not as big of a deal. But again, if you have to, let's say, go downtown, you definitely want to take in consideration the time that it takes to drive into downtown. We do have rush hour, and so if it's taking an hour to get to downtown, and that's too long, you may want to consider different locations. So number 4, you definitely want to take a look at your work situation and the distance to your work. So number 5, if you go to a place of worship, a church, you may want to consider all your different options, and then see how far away your property or your new home is going to be from where you go to church. And again, this may impact on your choices. So again, picking a location that supports your need for going to church. Number 6, entertainment. Calgary has a lot to offer with entertainment and events, that kind of thing. So for instance, on the northwest part of Calgary, we have COP, which is a ski hill. So if you're into skiing, that kind of thing, or if you want to get out to Banff, which is on the northwest side, you may want to choose a community that's closer to that side. So anyway, so that's something that you may want to consider, what your family is into and that kind of thing, and that might impact on, again, your communities that you would take a look at. So number 7, you may want to consider between new and old. A lot of the newer communities are on the outskirts of Calgary, of course, but we also have a lot of redevelopment communities in Calgary. So older communities that the houses are old, they've torn them down, they have nice big lots, and they've rebuilt some new homes, and they can be infills or semi-detached or a complete new house. So these are all the different options, and now what I want to do is go into more details about the price ranges of each of the districts. Calgary is divided into 8 zones, and each of these zones have their benefits, and so I'm going to discuss those. I'm going to actually jump onto my computer, and that way you can see a little bit better visually on where these communities are. Okay, so let's get started. This is a map of Calgary. Calgary is spread out over 840 square kilometers, so it is quite large, third largest city in Canada, and there's over 200 communities. So there's also 8 main districts, which we'll get into here in a second, but I really want you to take a look at the road system. So Calgary has a ring road, so this 201 actually goes all the way around the outside of the city. So that really helps for people that, like for myself, I live up in the north end, north central, and if I want to get down to south, I'll take, a lot of times I'm going to end up taking either the number 2, which is Deerfoot Trail, and that goes north to south, or the Ring Road. Ring Road is going to be less busy during rush hour typically, and for me to get from north to south is about 30-minute drive. East and west is the number 1, and this will go straight through Calgary, through basically the middle of Calgary here. And the number 1 actually will take you out to the mountains. So people that want to live close to get out of town, a lot of them will choose this west side, northwest, or up here on the west side. The number 1A will actually take you out to Cochrane, which is one of our satellite cities. North of Calgary, we have Airdrie. On the east side of Calgary here, we have Chestermere. And then if you go down south of Calgary, we have Okotoks. So some great satellite cities. I'm not going to talk too much about them in this video, but if you do have interest in those, feel free to reach out, just leave me a comment. So as far as distance, again, so if you're living north central up here and you want to go into downtown, so if we scroll in here a bit, this is the downtown core. It's going to take, on rush hour days, it can take up to 45 minutes, maybe even an hour if it's really bad rush hour traffic. So over this pandemic, we've seen a lot less traffic. Again, a lot more people are working from home, so traffic isn't as heavy, but Calgary is a big city. There's 1.5 million people here, and so it is growing, and it continues to grow. So another thing that people like to know is the Calgary International Airport is up here in the northeast. It's actually really close to Deerfoot, so access again to the airport, if that's important to you, again up in the north central, northwest, or northeast is selections for a lot of people. So here's a map of the Calgary community map. This will actually break out all the communities. Again, here's the Ring Road going around Calgary. There's the city center, which is the purple here. So it's going to include the down core, but it goes out a little bit and just outside what we call inner city. So all of these are some of the oldest neighborhoods, obviously, in Calgary, and really some of the most expensive real estate in Calgary. So this again, the prices I'll be going to here in a minute, but just to give you an idea of where that is. Then we have east, this is all the green area here. We got northeast in the pink, I guess, and then the blue, we got north central. quite a few new communities up here. Northwest, this is actually Crowchild Trail, which the LRT runs. I'm going to show you a map of that here in a second. West side of Calgary, there's a lot of upper end homes. This has actually quick access into downtown, so a lot of executives and that kind of thing that work downtown, they actually like to live on the west side. Then we've got South Calgary. Again, there's several new, if you go down deeper south, there's several new communities, as well as the southeast. We've got the new hospital, the South Campus Hospital is here. It's a very large hospital. And so that's a quick overview of the districts, and now I want to go into a little bit more specific on each of these districts. So just before I actually go into the details of the districts and the types of properties we have in Calgary, this is actually an overlay of our LRT system on the Google map. So our LRT is a light rail transit. It's called the C train, and as you can see, it runs basically east to west, and we go up into the northeast here as well. Goes down to deep south and then up into the northwest. They are building more lines eventually here, going up straight up to the north, and there's also going to be some going down into the southeast Calgary. But this is actually operational and running really well. And if you need to take the LRT, obviously you want to choose communities that run along the LRT lines. And again, each one of these represent a station. So there's lots of stations, and it's very popular in Calgary to use the LRT. So I'm going to use this map to explain the price ranges of our main types of properties, which are a detached home, there's a semi-detached, a townhouse, and apartment. So I'll explain each one of those and the price ranges of those in each of these communities. It does help you to understand that, especially again, just deciding what is going to fit for you, your budget. Keep in mind, I don't deal with rental at all in this video. Realtors in Calgary typically don't deal with rentals. So this would be all about purchasing your home and prices around that. So, but first, let's go over the different types of properties so you understand what they are. So the first type of property is a detached home. Detached homes kind of speak for themselves. They can be different styles, so they can be a two-story like this, or a bungalow, or a split level. I'm not going to get too much into those, but they do have their own property. Typically, there's no condo fee. There are some communities that do have the detached homes on condo property, but that's very uncommon. So most common is that you do own the property as well as the house. And so this particular home was one that sold for $515,000 in Northwest Calgary. So this next property type is called a semi-detached home. So what it is actually it's like a half duplex. So the owner would actually own half of this whole structure. So half of it would be your property, and that would be your neighbor's. And you own the land as well, but you are sharing a common wall. And so this is called a semi-detached, and typically, again, there's no condo fees or anything like that, so you look after the cost of your side, and your owner on the other side would own the other side, as well as any of the costs of maintaining that particular part of the property. And this particular property is what we call row housing or townhouse. As you can see, there's multiple properties, and they're all attached, so this is another type of attached property. These are typically going to be a condo setup, so that means there's going to be common property, and you'll have a common fee structure that everybody pays to help pay for future fixes, that kind of thing. So there's a budget for that, as well as a budget to look after the maintenance of the property. So there'll be a condo fee associated with that. So you'll actually own the actual unit, but all the common property is shared amongst the owners. And then we have apartments. Apartments are condominiumized. There's a lot of common space that's shared amongst all the owners of the building. And so these are apartments. There's actually two types. There's low rise. That would be anything up to 4 stories, and anything over 4 stories would be considered a high rise. And this particular one is a nice property up in the northwest. It sold for $445,000. So again, more of an upper end type of condo in northwest Calgary. And here's a low-rise apartment, just so you can see what it looks like. Again, this one is 1, 2, 3. This one's a 4-story. Some of them have elevators. Most of the newer ones have elevators. You'll get the odd older building that doesn't, but typically there'll be elevators. But this one sold for $219,000 up in northwest Calgary. Okay, so let's start off with the Calgary City Center. I did a cost analysis of the last 60 days. This will give you what actually sold here. As the recording right now, we're in October 30th, 2021. So the lowest detached home was $283,500, and the highest was over $5 million. So as you can see, there's some pretty high-end homes in the city center. And again, semi-detached, the lowest was $309, and then the highest was $1,265. And I also put in the median price year to date, just to give you an idea of kind of where the middle road is for each of these communities or these zones of Calgary. So keep in mind, again, city center, there's many districts or communities in there, and they'll have their, again, highs and lows. Anytime that you would like to learn more specifically about a community, of course, reach out to me, and then I can give you some stats on that particular community. And again, that way you can see what your options are. Downtown Calgary has several apartment buildings, and the low end is $70,000. That's pretty low. And of course, on the high end, there's some really nice luxury apartments. That'll go 1, 2 million as well. Lots of districts, though, will be in that, 200,000 to 300,000 as well. And so a good selection for downtown Calgary. So let's jump up to north central Calgary. Up here, the lowest detached home sold for $205,000. The highest was almost $1 million. Our median price is $482,000. Quite a few detached homes up in the north central. Again, you got some of that inner city parts or closer to downtown. Definitely going to be older, but you'll also find some good type of infill type of properties. So again, what that is older property that's been torn down and new property has been put on there. If you get into the very far north, you're going to get into communities that are newer. Actually, there's some brand new communities up there, so lots of good choices for brand new homes as well. As you can see here, there are apartments. The lowest was $118,000. Highest was $490,000. Our median price is $210,000 for apartments up in the north central. So here we got northwest Calgary, district of northwest Calgary. Detached lowest was $280,000, highest $2.7 million, and a median price of $547,000. A lot of great selection here in northwest Calgary. Lots of older neighborhoods where there's been a lot of homes that have been renovated. So you're going to get nice large lots, mature trees, that kind of thing, and nice, beautiful renovated homes. So the other thing about Northwest is we have the university there, as well as the Children's Hospital. So there's, again, a lot of professionals that live up in this area. So some really good homes, good family neighborhoods, and the Northwest has a lot to offer. As you can see here, apartments, the lowest was $115,000, and then up to just over $500,000. Median price, $218,000. So here we have the west part of Calgary. West has quite a bit of high-end homes. There is a lot of executives that live here. They want to have quick access into downtown Calgary. And so homes here for detached, they start at $407,000. Highest is into multiple millions. There was one that sold for $4.6 million in the last 60 days. And median price, though, is about $700,000 on the west side. And apartments, low end, $125,000, all the way up to $1 million. And the median price, though, is $255,000. Nice thing about, again, west side is there's a lot to offer. There's a lot of private schools up in this part of Calgary. And so again, if you want quick access to downtown and you have the budget, West Side is a great place to live. Okay, so South Calgary, quite a large area actually, and if you get in closer to the city center here, the prices do go up pretty quick. Right around the Glenmore Reservoir, there's some pretty exclusive communities, and the prices are quite high there. But overall, the lowest in the last 60 days was 260,000. The highest was 2.5 million, and the median price in South is 500,000. Again, apartments, low end was 107,000. The highest was 535,000, and the medium is 190,000. So again, quite a bit of older like as we get in closer to the city, there's older neighborhoods with a lot of homes that have been renoed, and great locations, and really beautiful homes with really nice renovations. As you go further south, there's definitely a lot of brand new communities, and so if you're looking for a new home, you definitely want to take a look at deep South Calgary. Okay, so let's go to Southeast Calgary. Southeast, there's actually quite a few new communities, especially along the edge here. We have that new hospital, the South Campus, which is a very large hospital, and a lot of communities around that. Prices for a detached started at 253,000. Highest was 2,315,000 with a median price of 487,500. Apartments, low end is 155, high end 3.1 million, which is very high actually for Southeast. And then the median price, as you can see here, is more in the 227,250. Great community, lots of great things. There's some great lake communities, so great family communities. Okay, and now we're in East Calgary. This is a smaller part of Calgary. It's the most affordable part of Calgary. The low end of detached home there is 243,500. Highest was 516,000 with a medium price of 340,000. So apartments under 100,000 at the low end, high end 235,000 with a medium price of 154. So a lot of, again, just people that are trying to get started. There's definitely some starter homes here in the east. And again, lots of shopping, lots of restaurants, that kind of thing. So, and again, fairly easy to get into downtown on the number one, just going into the city center. Okay, so northeast, as we go into the northeast here, again, this is right, the airport is up here, so lots of people that fly a lot or need to either work up there. There's a lot of industrial actually as well. It's popular for northeast. Detached on the low end is 260,000, a high end 800,000. Medium price is 340,000 for detached homes, and apartments 110,000 on the low end. High end, 230,000, and with a medium price of 154,000. So that's basically Calgary. As you can see, there are a few other districts here. We've got Springbank. This is outside of Calgary. There's a lot of country residential here, and so if you're into acreages, that kind of thing, Springbank is a great place to go. Up here is Bears Paw. Again, some great properties up there. Country residential, of course, that's going to be, into the, starting at $1 million and going up. And then again, Chestermere is a favorite small city for people that want to get out of the city a little bit. It's actually has a lake, which is pretty interesting. So if you're into that kind of thing. So I'm going to leave some links in the descriptions below just on maybe how to search. I have a website that you can search all of these properties. I'll set up some favorite searches. You can click those, and you can actually, there's some filters on there if you want to adjust the price range, type of property. As you saw, I showed you some different types of properties. But if you really want my help, I'd be more than happy to help customize the search for you. That way I can set it up so I'm going to be touching the right areas and the right types of communities that match what your family requires. So Feel free to reach out to me. You can send me an email, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to subscribe. I'd love to send you more videos. Ring that bell, of course, and you'll get instant notification. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you.